Launched in 1959 by the British Motor Corporation, the Mini truly shaped the future of small car design. The Mini was the brainchild of Sir Alec Zagonis's answer for an affordable and economical car for the people, which was desperately needed as a result of the Suez Crisis. The Mini pushed the boundaries of small car design massively by pushing all fours to the far corners, maximising internal space alongside with its transversely mounted engine. The outcome was a revelation, remaining in production for an impressive 4-decade run. My name's Kieran and I welcome you along to my Mini adventure, celebrating over 60 years of the Mini. As a child growing up, I've always been fascinated by Minis and classic cars as a whole. Living on the beautiful island of Jersey, I've been a proud classic Mini owner since 2018. This is my 1990 Rover Mini. It used to be a racing green edition, one of many special edition Minis Rover introduced in the late 80s and early 90s, before the previous owner had it resprayed in Nightfire Red. I've since fitted new alloys, wheel arches and various other pieces to make it my own. To kickstart my Mini adventure, I decided to take a trip to the British Motor Museum in Warwickshire to visit the very first production Mini. This Morris Mini Minor here, registered 621 AOK, was the first ever Mini to leave the Cowley production line in '59. To have bought a Mini like this at the time would have set you back just £537. After speaking to a member of staff, I was pleasantly surprised to find that amongst their extensive collection was the last ever 5,387,862nd original Mini. That's quite a handful to swallow. This would have been a sad moment, however, back on October the 4th, 2000 for fans of the original Mini. 60s pop artist Lulu drove this red 2000 Mini Cooper Sport off the line at Longbridge. It's one of 500 special editions released at the time to commemorate the last batch of original Minis. To get a true feel for this, I decided to travel to Longbridge to see what remains of it today. Once a factory that saw the production of millions of cars, including the Austin Metro, the Rover 200 and of course the Mini. As you can see, not much remains. With the collapse of the MG Rover Group in 2005, the site has since been redeveloped for both residential and commercial usage. Not just a city car for the people, the Mini also proved to be very successful in the world of motorsport, winning the Monte Carlo Rally in 1964, 65 and in 1967, as well as many others. By total chance, I managed to find and get in touch with Patrick Ryan, a local retired rally driver who used to compete in several rallies in modified Minis throughout the 70s. Patrick, thank you for coming along to do this interview. So what first got you into rallying?
It was a really a busy motorsport club that I belonged to automatically as an apprentice at British Leyland. Fabulous apprenticeship scheme that they had. We would go all over the different British Leyland factories.
How did it feel to win your first outright victory in the Castrol Timpson Rally in 1972?
Yeah.
In a Mini?
Well, that was the last Mini to ever win a British national status rallies. These were the rallies that counted towards the British Rally Championship in those days. And it was quite something for me. It needed a little bit of luck because a chap in a Ford Escort went off the road and I was chasing him hard, and behind me were several other Escorts and other. By that time I was pretty experienced by 1972, so I had a really good co-driver. And these were in the Welsh forests, and so I knew them well as well. And the Mini was particularly suited to the Welsh forests as well. So we won by I think 4 seconds from the Porsche, I think, that was second.
Following on from that, would you say as a result of your racing experiences in Minis, you have a soft spot for the classic Minis now?
Oh, very much so. Very much so. They were such fun. Very, very, very physical to drive, believe it or not, because we had limited slip differentials on a front-wheel drive car and no power steering. So you can imagine that they were known to be the most physical cars to drive of all.
With this icon of a car now over 60 years old, to get an insight into how relevant the classic Mini still is today, I drove up to catch up with some fellow Mini enthusiasts from my home in Jersey. Jane is very passionate about the Mini, so much in fact that she had a garage specially built to house her Mini whilst paying tribute to the iconic brand. Her garage even made the cut to be featured in 2018's September issue of the Mini World magazine.
At present I've got a yellow, bright yellow Mini HL, and it's a 1981. I've had quite a lot of Minis, I've had 15 altogether. Keep changing, don't know why, but this one I really like.
What made you want to buy a Mini in the first place?
Well, that's quite a story. Have you got the time? Well, when I was 17, I'd started work and I couldn't afford a car, and my dad said, "Oh, I'll buy you your first little runabout." So I said, "Great." I said, "As long as it's a Mini, I don't mind what colour it is, but don't come home unless you've got me a Mini." So a few hours later, he said, "I've got one, it's outside." I said, "Oh, that's brilliant," I'm so excited. And I looked out the window and it was a Triumph Herald, and I had to pretend I liked it, which I did for about a year, and then I got my first Mini myself.
Do you intend on getting any others then in the future?
Well, at the back of my mind, I've always wanted a Mini Rose, but they only made 500, and I've been searching for years and haven't come across a decent one yet. So although that is my goal, I don't think I'll ever get one. But I live in hope.
Do you have a preference then between the classic Minis and the newer Minis?
Well, yes, of course. It's got to be the classic Mini. My daughter has got one of the modern BMW Minis, and I drive that occasionally, and it's a lovely car to drive. Easier to drive, I would say, but not so much fun.
Minis come in all shapes and sizes. I drove to speak to a proud owner of a 1989 Mini Moke, a model which is not seen as much today compared to the more familiar looking three-door saloon.
Hi, yeah, I'm Al Gullett and I own this Mini Moke. I've had it for about 5 years. It's a 89 Mini. I had a Mini Traveller when I was 18, which I quite enjoyed, and I always had it at the back of my mind that one day I'd get another Mini Moke, another Mini, and when I got a chance to buy a Moke, I bought it.
Have you ever attended any Mini related events?
Yeah, I attend all the ones on the island, both the Classic Vehicle Club and the Mini events, and I went with the Classic Vehicle Club the year before last to a rally in France for classic vehicles, not just Minis, but there were several Minis in that.
So do you have a preference to what you prefer over the classic Minis and newer Minis?
I don't like the newer Minis at all. No, I like classic cars, classic Minis.
Continuing on my venture, I met up with Emmanuel Rodriguez, also known as Chillo, who is one of the original founding members of Jersey's first Mini Club. I kindly got invited to have a look at his impressive Mini collection, as well as his 1959 Morris Mini Minor, the oldest Mini in Jersey, making this a true survivor. Wow, that's the original engine.
Eventually when we freed it, we had it running in there with the exhaust and the battery, but I haven't put it back. The whole idea was to put it back and leave it as it is, but the back subframe's gone, so I need to get another subframe for it. Somewhere under there. There's the whole subframe itself is knackered. It used to be J164.
Oh wow.
And 10 years later he sold it and bought something else. In those days you could keep the number, so he took the number and kept it. And then he had about half a dozen owners. And then I bought it, I think it was early 80s I bought it. That was all my first Minis. First Mini, second Mini, third Mini, and the 1380 customised when I formed the club. Yeah, that's my Mini, that's interior. It's never been one as good. That one there, all the top there, was a special edition. They did a Christmas Woolworths. Every year they used to come out with one, and I've missed one. There's one of them, one here, by the time I got there it was too late gone. So I've got 5 of them I think, and the 6th one I've missed and never got it.
Things have changed greatly in the world of motoring since Mini's launch in '59. More than 20 years on from the last original Mini to leave the factory, the brand remains just as popular and continues to live on through millions of fans all over the world.